Joseph Vollmer here, and hopefully the lighting out here tonight is good enough that you can see what I'm doing. But I'm going to take you through changing the engine oil and filter on my 99 Honda Valkyrie. Now this is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. One thing you need to keep in mind if you're working on a motorcycle is you need to use motorcycle specific oil. Motorcycles like mine and my wife's, where the engine and transmission share the same oil reservoir, they use the same oil to lubricate the engine as they do the transmission, and they are generally a wet clutch system. For that reason, you need to use an oil that is designed for wet clutches and also for the load that will be put on them in the transmission as well, because in between those gears there's a lot of pressure that gets put on that oil that is not normally seen with engine oil. Also, one thing you need to keep in mind, my bike, my wife's bike, they're both water cooled. If you have a Harley or any of the other air-cooled motorcycles, some of the older Hondas were air-cooled, some of the smaller displacement bikes, the Honda Rebel that's sitting here, it's a 450, but it's air-cooled. You definitely need to use an oil that is specifically designed for air-cooled engines, because that oil has to be able to operate at higher temperatures without breaking down. Because you have to keep in mind, the oil temperatures in those bikes do get a good bit warmer than the oil temperature in mine, say. So keep that in mind. The oil that I will be using in my bike is a Mobil 1 Racing 4T. This is a 1040 weight. Now, choice of oil filters. I'm actually running a K&N on the bike now. I put a K&N on it last year. This year, I will actually be running the factory Honda filter. I feel confident in saying that the factory filter should be one of the best filters out there for this motorcycle. Now, change oil in this bike, it is a 4-quart oil capacity, so I do have 4 quarts of the 1040, and I've got a filter. Hey guys, while I get everything set up, please do me a favor. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. If you've already hit the subscribe button, make sure you click that notification bell. That way you get notifications on all my upcoming videos. When it's over, don't forget to rate it. And please, as always, if you have any questions about anything I'm doing, drop them in the comment section. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. So hang in there. We're going to dive right into this. I already have my jack slid under the motorcycle. Now, you don't necessarily need a motorcycle jack to do this. If you don't have one, having a helper handy to help hold the bike up once you get the oil draining is nice, because then you can get more of the old oil out of the crankcase, and the downside is any of the sludge that's in the crankcase is going to run to the downhill side. So the closer you can get it to level or slightly lean toward the drain plug, the more clutch material, because you have to remember, with this being a shared engine transmission oil, there is going to be material from the wet clutches and anything else in this oil. So the more of that material you can get out, the better off you'll be in the long run. Now, as you can see, the front tire is currently up off the floor. I don't need it to go too terribly high. My back tire is also off the floor, so I need to be careful. Okay, on this bike, the drain plug for the oil is right there. Okay, and I forgot my good work light at work today. And it is a 17 millimeter. So we're going to be careful not to hit the exhaust, because it's nice and warm now. Whoop. It'd be better probably if I went the correct direction. Let's see if we can't get this sucker broken loose. Oh. Just wait there a minute. Okay, now we got it loose. We'll move our drain pan.
our drain pan underneath, and we will try to extract the drain plug without burning ourselves in the process. Oh, that's hot. And that's got some miles on it. As you can tell, it's a bit dirty. So, right up here on the front, you can see the oil filter. So, we're just going to take, this one does have a spot on the front for a socket, but I'm just going to use an oil filter wrench to remove it if I can. Maybe not. Look at that. That one uses the same size as the drain plug. I'll let it drain into my drain pan for a minute. Go check my daughter's homework. We'll be right back. Alright guys, while the oil finishes draining, I'm going to check the rest of my fluid levels. Now on this bike, I've already removed the rear master cylinder cover so that we can see the fluid level. The fluid level, if I shine the light right there, you can see it is down at the lower marking. So here in just a second, we're going to remove the cap there. I'm going to check my front master cylinder, and if I turn the steering wheel straight, you can see it is down around the lower marking. And I'm also going to check my clutch. My clutch is exceedingly low, so I need to take the cap off and top it off. I need to top off my front master cylinder, and I need to top off my rear master cylinder. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'll set you guys up here. And it just takes a Phillips screwdriver. Now I've got some synthetic .3 brake fluid. That one's done. Now I'll move up here to my front brake. Now these actually have a piece of foam inside to keep them from sloshing around too much. Rotate the handlebars all the way the opposite way to get my other master cylinder up and flat. Well, this one isn't as horribly low as I thought it was. Just couldn't see it very well through the... Okay. Sorry guys. Just couldn't see it very well through the little window. Well, we're going to top it off as well. Now you should always use brake fluid from a clean sealed container. Now I will show you the reason why is because brake fluid is what they call hydroscopic, so it attracts water and absorbs it. The problem with that is it will pull water out of the air. So that is why on the underside of a master cylinder cap, a reservoir cap, they always have a rubber gasket that is not vented to the outside, but it acts as a diaphragm. That way it can, one side of it is vented to the outside, and it can move in as the brake fluid level drops. So what I always do with mine, I always make a hole in the top as small as I can, and I always make sure the cardboard stays on the inside. And I cap it up really tight, nice and tight. Now this one's pretty well done, but I always do that. That way, I always do that. That way I don't have to worry about it having moisture make its way in. I'm going to rotate my front tire around so my valve stem is exposed. And we're going to check our tire pressures as well. I have this nice digital tire pressure gauge. Turn it on. All I have to do, with any luck, I'm trying to balance you guys on my knee, so forgive me if it shake a little shaky. Lock it on, and I'm at 22.4 in the front, so my front tire has definitely lost some pressure over the winter. I need to fix that. Now this is why motorcycles always have angled valve stems. It's especially nice in the rear. There we go. Hopefully you can see this. My rear is at 30.4, so it's a little low as well. The compressor going here in a minute will air it up, but it's loud. So, in the meantime, I'm going to finish my oil change. Take my new oil filter. Always make sure you oil the gasket on the filter. That way when you spin it on, if it's dry, it will pinch against the mating surface and you can tear it, and then you'll have an oil leak. So we're just going to spin that on. Get it nice and tight, and then I will take my filter wrench here and just snug it up a little bit. There we go. I'm going to snug it up about half a turn. There we go. Just to make sure she doesn't come back loose. And we're going to get our drain plug back in. If you guys see that. Now to refill this bike, you refill it right here on the side. You can actually see some of your transmission gears down in there. I'm going to set my fill plug right up on top of my valve cover. I'm going to take my dipstick out. It's right up here. I'm going to remove it so the air can vent. I'll wipe it down really well. I'm going to fill her up with the Mobil 1 Racing 4T 1040. Alright, now while that one finishes draining, take my dipstick, I'm going to drop it right back in, pull it out, and it's kind of hard to see, we're right above this mark, which is just perfect. Nice clean oil. Now, 4 quarts in this bike puts it right up on full. Make sure your dipstick is tight. Oil cap is tight. I'll put my master cylinder cover back on here in just a second. I'm going to show you where to check the coolant. I have a coolant reservoir right here. And the coolant level right now is up here. My upper mark is right there. My lower mark is right there. So the coolant under the seat, right over here. You should always also periodically check it at the radiator. Now, on every motorcycle, there is going to be a tire and loading information sticker. See, it's right here. Okay. Now, it gives you your cold tire pressure, front and rear, at a certain weight. So on this motorcycle, this one's kind of been a bit scratched up. Looks like it's going to be 33 in the front, 36 in the rear, up to maximum. So a little low in the front. I need to get it up to 33. I need to get the rear up. I think I was running 37 in the rear with this tire. So I'm going to get it back up there here in just a second. The tire loading information sticker that I just showed you, that is standard on every vehicle in the United States. Unless you've got a custom bike of some kind, that may not have it. But most manufactured motorcycles are going to have a tire and loading information sticker somewhere on them. If you ever have any question, you can't find it, call your local dealer for whatever brand you have. They can give you the information directly out of their computer. They'd be more than happy to help you because they want you to stay safe out there. So, like I showed you, always check all your fluids. Don't forget to record your mileage. And right now, I am at 89,283 miles on this bike. So, at 94,283, I will be due for my next oil change. I try to keep it changed about every 5,000. Honda says you can run 10, but considering this bike is now 20 years old, I really don't want to push my engine any farther than I need to. Clean oil is cheap insurance as opposed to having to put a new engine in this motorcycle or a new transmission. A little cheap insurance goes a long way, guys. So I hope that helps you out. Hope you now understand how to change your oil, check your fluid levels in a bike like this. Stay tuned. I will take you through servicing the rear end of one of these. I'm not going to do it tonight. I wanted to get the oil changed though. That was due. I needed to check all my fluid levels. Wanted to get my tire pressures checked. I'm going to get them aired up here in just a second. You guys do me a favor. Thanks for watching. Like I said earlier, if you have any questions, drop in the comment section. Please rate the video now that it's all over with. I hope you liked it. Share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you have, make sure you hit the notification bell. And guys, don't forget, get out there and get your hands dirty. You might have a little bit of fun doing it. We'll see you on the next one.